All right, in this video, I'm going to show you how to cast a baitcaster reel. But before that, let's talk about baitcasters. Now, baitcasters are strong. They're meant for heavy baits. They're meant for lures that can torque the line like a crankbait. In general, they're for casting bigger baits out. It's difficult to cast out smaller baits on a baitcaster. Now, to tell what type of baitcaster you need to buy is based on which arm is your strong arm. I'm right-handed, so my right arm is my strong arm. And this is called a right-handed baitcaster. That's where the handle is on the right side. Now, the downside is after you cast, you have to switch hands, which puts your strong arm on the handle where it belongs. That way you can torque down on whatever you're reeling in. Now, there is a use case scenario for someone to have a left-handed reel as a right-handed person, and I'll talk about that at the end of this video because that is a completely different technique. I'm doing it just kind of the traditional way, which some people actually, if you're right-handed, will still have a left-handed reel so you don't have to switch hands. But it's better this way, like I said, because you want to be able to torque down with your strong hand on the reel and be able to grab and pull everything with both hands. That's just by design. Some people do go against the grain when it comes to baitcasters, and that's perfectly fine. Now, another thing is, the bigger the baitcaster, the easier it is to actually cast it. It's easier to learn on a big one than a small one that you would use for bass fishing. The smaller ones basically will bird's nest really quickly in comparison to a big one. And that's because of their size, because the spool is smaller and spins faster. It's just, physics. Now, unless you're using big catfish bait, you have to adjust your reel before you cast it. And even with catfish bait too, there's a knob on the side here. And this basically slows down the line as it comes out of the reel. So if I click it, you can see this big bait is just slowly going down. If I loosen it and let go, it goes down fast, which will cause the bird's nest. So basically what you need to do is tighten it down till the bait is held in place, and then just back it off until it slowly goes down. I have it probably one click too tight. And all that does is slow the spool down on the cast. Now, there is a secondary magnetic brake that's on this reel and some others, and that is for like mid-cast to keep you from getting a bird's nest like mid-cast. They're a little bit more difficult to set up. I haven't even touched the brakes on these because I'm used to using my thumb instead of a brake that's in the actual reel. So whenever you're casting, your thumb has the control over everything. So I've got it clicked now, and you can see, I'm holding the bait in place with my thumb, not the reel. And whenever you're casting, you want to keep your thumb on the line. Although if you really, really rip it out there, you can burn your thumb, especially if you're using braid like what I'm using right now. But you basically just, keep your thumb on the line. Let's see if I can do that closer to the camera. And I'm not even really casting it. See, I'm just, keeping it on the line so I have full control over the bait. Now let's see if I can do a full cast and show it to you guys on the camera. This is going to be the difficult part for me. Let's see if I can get this to work. See, my thumb is on it the entire time. They do say the further the bait is down, the further you will get on a cast. And never, ever, ever reel it up that far. Do not cast it like that. You need to have a couple of feet out. For me, I keep the leader line, you know, out of the eyes. So see if I can do this again. And this is not a typical cast. I'm just showing you me holding my thumb on the spool. And you can see I'm not bird's nesting while I'm messing around here. Now I'm going to try a full cast. This will be harder to see. Finger on it the whole time. But like I said, if you use the magnet, then you can, you know, not have your thumb on it a lot. A lot of algae in the water here for this bait. This is the bait that caught me a giant striper. I mean, I'm talking 40, maybe even pushing 50 pounds on this bait. It was not here though. I'm just at a random park trying to do a video for you guys. I actually was talking to a guest, a future guest on my boat. They want to do a mixed bag trip, maybe try to catch a striper, but they don't know how to use Baitcasters. And they might happen upon this video. I will try to show them in person as well. And if, you know, they can't figure it out, then I can just put this out and troll it. And hope a striper will grab it while trolling. I do have trolling rods too. I'll have this out with the trolling baits and maybe catch a striper, probably catch a bunch of drum. That's why I call it a mixed bag trip. And that is how you cast a baitcaster. I have about a 5% chance of catching something here. I am reeling it in really fast though. This bait really needs to be slow rolled. So you just reel it really, really slow. I'm reeling it too fast. That's another good thing about bait casters is you can change the speed of how you retrieve if you're using artificial baits. And it's better to have a faster reel, higher gear ratio, than it is to have a slower reel, because you can slow down easier than you can speed up. Maybe our slow roll this one. All right, so I was talking about the other technique, and that's just flipping jigs. So if you're right-handed, you could get a left-handed reel where, you know, instead of the right side, the handle's on the left side, but you're not really casting, you're pitching. So you take, you know, you take the bait, a jig about at where the reel is, and you're just pitching it. So you pitch it at a target, and then, boop, you use your thumb to click it, like that. Because bass will hit a jig as soon as it hits the water, and you don't want to be changing your hands, you know, with jigs. And pitching is the same thing. You're keeping your thumb, you know, on the actual, you know, line and pitching it to your target. And I know I do a lot of catfishing, but I know a little bit about bass fishing. Just a little bit, just enough to get me into trouble. Which means somebody will probably say that, you know, if you're right-handed, you don't need to have a right-handed reel. You need to have a left-handed reel. Like I said, some people go against the grain. Now, I hope some of you may have learned something new on this video. I know quite a bit of you probably already know how to cast a baitcaster. It's still good to have a refresher every now and then. And if you want me to do a spinning reel video like this, then leave a comment below and hit that thumbs up. If I get a whole bunch of likes on this video, I'll do a spinning reel one. Also, if I get a bunch of likes on this video, the Google algorithm or the YouTube algorithm will also promote it a little bit better. Now, this is something that, I learned years ago, and someone could be watching this video years from now and it should still be relevant. Not much has changed with the baitcasters in the past 20 or 30 years, and I don't think they're going to change anytime in the future, anytime soon. Now, as always, I want to thank you for taking your time out of your day to actually watch my video. I really, really appreciate it. Now, all I need to do is get this back in the water and maybe catch another giant striped bass. In fact, I will do an iCard to that video here so you can see me catching 2 respectable striped bass. The second one is an absolute monster. Thanks again for watching. Hope to see you next time.